hurting, I was like, you know what, I gotta quit acting as if this does not have impact.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know that my choices have consequences, and if I know that I'm supposed to do something, then I better do it, or or else I'm gonna feel it in my body and I
Somewhere.
want it. Huh?
I said you're going to feel it somewhere. That's one of the
Right.
things that the evaluating, I talking about my knees.
Uh,
And so I'm always evaluating what am I not letting go of, or stubbornness. This can be attributed to stubbornness, and you read something that said inflexibility. And so um I know, for me, and it's so funny and so appropriate and so loving of all that is thoughts and beliefs. Is
mm,
not actually tangible things. It's thoughts and beliefs that I hold dear to. They're for safety, like a blanket, but they're no
mhm.
longer serving me.
Right. Right.
And so as I start to release them, um, people and circumstances go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so right, all of that stuff. And there is, so when they say there are no idle thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone carries with it its own set of consequences. It's even to pretend like we don't know is like saying that we're trying to lie to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for me, I'm struggling. I struggle with this, and I've done this before, Stephanie. I mean, y'all, you can't really see my desk, right? But I have just like taken and just, like I got to clear the deck, because sometimes that's what healing requires.
Mm-hmm. But I used
And
to think that I was being introverted, or when because I would do the same thing. Now I just go away. I'll take myself away from the people, and for 4 or 5 days, and just go in the woods by myself, if you will. But I used to do that clean slate thing, and I used to say, what's wrong with me? But I just think it's just a part of the healing journey. I think it's the part of, just like the seasons. I think we need to do that every now and again
mhm, mhm.
to get our
So
energy back.
yeah, yeah. That is true, because nature does that. It just clears the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's always amazing to me because, when you think about winter, so I'm gonna use it because I'm a dog owner right now. So in August, it is the flea population is through the roof, right? And so, it's kind of like mosquitoes and stuff. There's a
Mm-hmm.
period in which they're having that build up, build up, build up. And then all of a sudden you get to a certain point and it's off the chain. So in August, flea season is off the chain.
Okay.
And then comes in September, and you got the falling leaves and everything. And then by the time winter comes, it just freezes and it kills all of those pesky insects and all of that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then the cycle starts over again when
Again.
you come back to spring, and so there's this clearing that seems to happen. And if you don't notice it, you don't notice it, but that's kind of like the cycles. And
Mm-hmm.
so go to someplace else like that doesn't have those seasons. And I was in Mississippi, it was a couple of years ago, and I don't know what my brother had left in the car, but by the time he got to the car, it was like a colony of ants had moved into the car in a matter of a couple of,
Ooh.
I mean, and you're looking at all the ants and you're thinking, what the hell imagine, you know, you don't think of being overrun by ants and having to deal with
Go down south, you will.
oh my. So there doesn't, I guess, depending on where you are, there's not that check system in place that puts you back in order, you know, back in order. So
and we used to be like that as a society, but we've changed so much. You know, do you remember when the TV was they had the snow screens?
Yeah, or when they signed up
When the TV signed off and the light, you know, the business is closed in the area, you know, but that's not our, we don't have cycles where we reset.
You know, I used to be funny about, I used to not go to 24-hour restaurants because I used to think that was just uncleanly to just not let a space rest ever.
Hey.
You know, it seems like dust needs to settle. Everything needs to settle. It needs
somewhere.
To happen, you know? Yeah, and if you didn't ever close, like, oh, I don't know that I want to go in there.
Yeah, but there's something about learning about energy that makes you see life different. And for that, I am grateful. Yeah. And for opportunity to share that truth with other people, I am grateful. I don't know what impact it will have, but I can tell you just this little bit of this reading has just affirmed a lot of things from an energetic standpoint. Like it's a huge paradigm shift, putting energy and body parts together. You know, it just has added some dimension even to me, and as a clinician, asking people questions like, how you feeling? I mean, like, how you feeling in your body? Like, you know, getting more clear about that, and just being able to go in another direction has been so good, but even good for me in my own personal space.
You know, sometimes I think part of our problem is that we try to compartmentalize so many things in our life. And so we want to, even in religion, like we want to say this is new thought and this is not. And or this is A Course in Miracles, this is new thought, this is Christianity, this is Judaism. We want to compartmentalize and section it off without trying to see. And, you know, so, okay, this is new thought. This is A Course in Miracles. This is Christianity. This is Judaism. This is Islam. This is medicine.
Right. Yes.
Healing. This is psychology.
Yes.
Without necessarily seeing that all of them fit together.
Yeah. So my girlfriend said, well, we were talking about something, new thought, and she said it, but you can find all of that stuff in the Bible. It's in the Bible. Not saying that it's not in the Bible, but the difference is that it doesn't come with the judgment that sometimes the Bible and the people who are interpreting the experience attach the judgment to it.
Right.
And that's why people have said, yeah, I'm good with that. And they're open to something else because of the judgment and hypocrisy that has been attached to that experience. Because I too believe that everything that we talk about it can be found in that Bible. Yes. It's just the lenses that I choose to wear now when I look at them. Right, I have a different set of I have something else informing the information that I'm now relearning again, because it has a different space for me. It's so when I look at that space without judgment, when I open that book without judgment, it just looks so different to me. It just and it's always
you see the love
exactly,
the condemnation, the in group versus the out group, all of that stuff, you know, it just goes away when you, depending upon what you bring to it,
right,
you know. And so one of the things that I think used to get me, especially when I was younger, was this battle that people tried to have between creationism and religion. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, why do we have to make it an either or thing all the time?
An issue.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. It's not an either or.
Right.
But I think that in this country, we learn this dichotomy, like it's got to be either it's this or it's that. So, and then we try to demonize everything that's not this.
Right.
So we've got the idea of what's good and acceptable, and then everything else.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I just and so
And
I
the
guess.
untruth of that is what causes dis-ease.
Yes, yes.
Because that is an illusion. Everything is one. Like it's just everybody's on the playground, playing in their different playgrounds, in the different spaces. It's the same. And
Mhm,
when we don't remember that, there's the dis-ease.
mhm,
And anytime we can say them and they instead of us and we,
mhm. Yep, yep.
hate and the dis-ease. Yeah.
All right. So, hey, good morning, everybody. Stephanie and I were in such juicy conversation. Finally, we were like, oh, we better go on live um, and do this. And
Carry on.
so, yeah. So, there you got the tail end of some of our our this morning.
Right. Our morning glory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So welcome. Good morning to you. Blessed sunshiny
Yes.
Saturday.
I welcome seeing it on your face.
Yes, yes. I am. I guess there is a part of me that is excited about, I'm always excited about the day. Um, Yesterday I went down to Progressive Field because I was supposed to be volunteering for the
Yeah.
Black Journalists Association. And so I go down there and I first, for some reason, right before I walked out the door, I was trying to decide what I was putting on. And I decided to call Kevin, who is our chapter president, Kevin Hurd. And I called him up and I said, are we outside? And he was like, yeah. like Progressive Field, the baseball field.
Right.
He was
No dome.
so I was like, oh, I better bundle up. And so I rethought what I had on. I put on some warmer clothes. And for 2 hours, I stood there and I don't want to say I danced, but I didn't stop moving
I
the
know.
entire time so that the cold
Wow.
didn't set into my bones. But actually, I think I did a little more than 2 hours standing down there, but I had a good time because I choose to.
No, that's right. High five to that. Right?
Right, right. You are. Stuff don't rain on my parade. The weather will be what it will be. People will be who they will be. And
Yes.
life keeps on. It keeps moving.
We're
So,
breathing.
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So let me just pray us in. And as we just come fully into this moment, knowing that right where we are, God is in its fullness. We give thanks for the ideas, the thoughts, the views, the opinions, the things that come up. We give thanks for each and every one of those. We give thanks for insight into intuition. We give thanks for these bodies that speak to us continuously and show us like a roadmap what it is that we are to do. We give thanks for all of it. So now with that, we know that the words spoken here are filled with your light, love, and wisdom of the highest. We open up this space and invite in all of those, knowing that they are blessed in their attention. No matter when they see this is a blessing. So we give thanks for this space, this moment, and just let it be. Amen, amen, amen. Yay. So, so, oh gosh, I guess there's so much on my mind. Um, I had a last night. I'm gonna say this. My cousin who lost her son. I have been, going by the house, which is what
Mm-hmm.
you do. The thing um, when people are going through their mourning period. And so the funeral was on Thursday, and my cousin is a Delta, and so she had sorority sisters come in from California, Maryland, from all over the country, all descending upon her and supporting her. And it has been beautiful to, and I don't want to make it seem like it's just her, because her husband is awesome too. And he has not only family, but he has people that he's worked with. He's got all of these folks. And so the house has just been
Mm.
filled with people. I mean, filled with people, and food coming, and flowers, and all kind of stuff just coming continuously. And so, you would have, so yesterday I went by, and I didn't go by until about, oh, I don't know what time it was, maybe about 7 o'clock or so.
Mm-hmm.
But I went by thinking to myself, okay, I'm only going to stay for a minute, because it's probably going to be low key. I left my dog out in the car. That's how quick I was thinking I was going to go by there. And instead, when I'm there, my aunt tells me, she was like, "We're going upstairs. She's upstairs in the bed. Just going up there." And
Mm.
first, I was thinking like, But when I go into the room, there's already like four people in the bed, somebody sitting over there, somebody sitting over there, somebody sitting, so I go right in, and it's, all of us women. And we sat there, must have been maybe 10 or 12 of us in the room. And we all sat there, and we talked, and we shared, and laughed, and argued, and all that stuff. And then, um, at a certain point, there was a shift. And so the people who were there initially changed out, because all of a sudden all the Delta sisters came in. And then
Oh.
it's 20 of us in the room. And so all of us are piled on the bed. Well, there's probably about 10 people on this king size bed.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm supposing, because all of these people were online in college together, it's not like a thing of, how people have personal space normally.
Right.
It
Mm-hmm.
was like all of that was out the window. It was, if you sitting here and I need to sit on your knee, I'm gonna sit on your knee, kind of
Right.
thing, because you got
Right.
no personal space. But and so I'm still in there eating the changing tide, because every time I go to get up, she said, "Where you going?" And I was like, "Well, my dog is in the car. We'll go get the dog and bring the dog back." So
Okay.
there's a bathroom right off of the room, and people going in the bathroom, using the bathroom, talking from the bathroom back in, and it was so, there was something so wonderful
The
about
girlfriend retreat.
yes, the sense of sisterhood, of just being there to support.
Mm-hmm.
I get choked up. But it was just such a beautiful, beautiful kind of experience to see how when we allow us to just minister to one another, there's not this, you know, competition or infighting or any of that stuff. It is just the love.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that just was something that was like, wow, you know, wow. It was a cool evening. And I ended up feeling like Cinderella at 10 o'clock, thinking to myself, I gotta get in bed. I gotta get in bed. And so I ran out the
Oh, my
door.
wheels are falling off my carriage,
Yes.
people.
Yeah, so it was one of those.
Oh,
Mm.
that was good. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
well,
and I'm so glad that my cousin kept pressing me with the where you going,
mm-hmm.
because maybe it was, yeah, you don't leave because because one group changes out from another. Just rest in this.
Yeah.
Um and so when I go back downstairs, her husband is down there and he done made pans of ribs and and rib tips. You would have thought he was running a restaurant down there because he had just down there holding
So
court with
busy.
the
Oh,
food piece and then people over at the table and they're drinking and then you got people in the living room and they're watching the draft or doing so. I mean, it's just a house full of people just holding space.
yeah.
And and I
Hmm.
think that we have, maybe we have forgot. One of the things I say to people sometimes is that the bigger our houses get, the less people we have in them. We feel like, that we have that open door thing too. Because then we start thinking about, good stuff and my stuff and what it looks like and all that stuff. It's like just
No,
climb in
I'm
bed.
just the opposite. Well, I love people in my house anyway.
Uh-huh.
But the bigger my house was, the more company we always, well, I had a bunch of kids too, but
Mhm.
um I love having people over. I love having company and I love getting women together. Like I just there's something just yummy, magnificent about it. Didn't understand how healing it was um until I went to Kansas just a few weeks ago because we had no agenda, except for
Mhm.
be it my birthday. That's it. But there was
Mhm.
no program, no theme, no PowerPoint presentation. We was just girls getting together, and
Yeah.
that felt really good. It's just an energy in us coming together. That's why I think family reunions are so good, and I hate that we don't like emphasize having them all the time, but just that same energy of our ancestors all coming
Mhm.
together and parts
Yeah.
of the souls that are attached to them. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's one of the thing I love about my family reunion too, that when we get together, it's like I don't have to have a reason in the world to love you, but I do.
yeah.
You
I
know,
know.
I don't have to see. I haven't seen you in 10 years, but my love for you is endless.
Yeah.
And that just bearing witness to that is amazing and beautiful.
Yes.
All right, so let me because we get it's already almost 8 o'clock, and so we could
We've
be
been
at
at this
this
for a minute.
group thing, huh?
I said we've been at this for a minute, huh?
Yeah, let me because yeah, we just been in this little groove thing for a few. So let me um so you guys, I yesterday I ended up with this little section that I am trying to get through, and I don't even know that I'm trying to get through, because it's like I could dwell on this page for a few days. But I think that because it brings up so much, I love in here to how we recognize and realize that what comes through us is divinity. It's not just our own stuff, not just these desires, our ego issues and all that stuff. It is divinity itself. And I think it's truly powerful when we allow ourselves to just rest in that, and rest in the sense of kind of like you would in a hot tub of water, right? You get in there, okay, and you soak and you rest in it. But when you get out, you know that there is something to get done and to do. Right. You don't, sometimes people linger a little too long, but when it's time to get up and move, you know that, okay, I get out of the tub. That means now I dry off, I put on whatever stuff, and then I put on the outer clothing that takes me out into the world. So it's not just this thing of we put on clothes so we could sit some more. And I'm not trying to discount those moments of reflection, right? Because I meditate, I get in there and I sit down and I listen and everything. But so there's a space for that, right? But as long as we know that there's a space for that, and you don't get to retire from that, you don't get to just retire into to just sitting, right? There is still something to do. There is still forward progression. And I think a lot of times we at a certain point in life, we have this notion that now we need to sit back and that there is nothing to do. We don't challenge ourselves enough. So I think that for each and every one of us, there is some forward progression that we can make. And when we stop movement, remember we said that movement is life, right? When we stop movement, then we're setting ourselves up for its opposite.
Right.
So
true.
Yeah. It's just the way it happens. And you can see that play out in everything. Yeah. So yesterday I read the misdirecting the power of one's spirit will generate consequences in one's body and life. And so I kind of I squeezed that because it was such a juicy piece. But now I want to move on to part 2 of these 3 truths that she said is common to all of the spiritual traditions that we are touching upon in this book. And I'm sure they apply to many others. And so number 2 is, every human being will encounter a series of challenges that test his allegiance to heaven. Every human being will encounter a series of challenges that test his allegiance to heaven. Now, let's see. Do I want to wait a minute? I don't want to stop right there yet. I'm gonna stop after this first paragraph because this is a 2-parter. But I want to come back. I want to make sure I come back because I just heard somebody say, "What is heaven?"
I was gonna say heaven. Let's do heaven.
Yeah. But wait a minute. These tests will come in the form of the disintegration of one's physical power base, the inevitable loss of wealth, family, health, or worldly power. The loss will activate a crisis of faith forcing one to ask, what is it or who is it that I have faith in?
Yes.
So, or into whose hands have I commended my spirit?
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm gonna finish reading this, and then we're gonna kind of drill down on this. Apart from such major losses, the trigger that causes people to seek deeper meaning and psychological or spiritual ascension is usually a physical disorder that creates a personal or professional earthquake. We all tend to look upward when the ground beneath our feet shifts out of control.
Mm.
So, remember, I I said, I always have that thing that the Course in Miracles says that we will learn. You can either choose through pleasure or through pain.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, most of us, we have these heads that are so hard that make we make God, we make the universe really shake our world, create an earthquake, right? So that we are able to hear. If you are not in a space where you are hearing, where you can hear the voice of God, where you can get a clue, where you can listen to what is being said to you, right? Whether it is being said outwardly or emotionally within your energy system, your physicality, when you are not listening, sometimes something has to happen to shake you up.
Most all
Now,
times.
yes,
Life,
yes.
if you're not listening, life requires an anvil. And that's okay, because I think we need to do whatever needs to be done, because life wants us to remember how powerful we are. And the soul
Yep.
is just like, no, I need you to remember. I need you to remember. I need you to remember. So we keep having to have this experience until we come to that awesome reality that I'll let you do your heaven thing. But yeah, like, I am heaven. I
you know, Jesus, Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is at
at
hand.
hand.
And most people look up to the sky and think, there are the heavens,
Mm-hmm.
rather than looking and saying, it is spread out upon the earth,
Everywhere, everything.
depending upon how we see.
Yeah. It's so
So I can take off, and I can maybe look, I could take I can have these glasses on and I can see heaven,
true.
or I can shift and I might see hell, right? Or depending upon where my head is, my mind is. Remember those habits of thought. The habits of thought would say that everywhere I look, I see lions and tigers and bears.
Bears. Mm-hmm.
Oh my, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it might say I see gorillas in the mist.
Right.
Or it might be that you are always running from the devil, or so you think.
Mm-hmm.
But now, even that means that you see devils everywhere.
Right.
That is also
Your
a
heaven.
Tuesday. Huh?
That's a heaven for you. That's your thing. That's your thing
Well,
that you looking up to. If
but you also
devils are the
create your
answer,
hell. Yeah,
yeah.
you also create your hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so the meaning that you bring to the situation that you are in, or how
Right.
it makes you feel. See, because one of the things that I learned how to do is I learned how to challenge my awareness. So back at 9/11, I was like, God, you told me only love was real. So
Mm.
show me love. that was my mantra. Show me the love in this. Hate is easy to identify.
Yeah.
Hate is, you could, but that's not where I wanted to tune my lenses to. So if when you go to an optometrist, right, they put these things on your eyes and they click it, click, 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 and they turn it. So it seems to like adjust your vision to something. Click, 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 right? I was like, yeah, okay, that, yes, but show me love, right? I see there, I'm seeing through that lens. It's a little dark, it's a little fuzzy. I'm seeing stuff that I don't want to see. Show me love. Show me the love. And I'm gonna wait on it, right? Because sometimes love gets out sometimes hate seems like it gets out the gate faster. Sometimes we have the perception that the devil is running, but as sure as I'm sitting here, right, as sure as the sun rises, love is constant. Love is truth. Love is the basis of all. So if I just wait, then what I will see is what exactly I was waiting for. It's kind of like one of those things when you at the airport and you waiting on somebody to come in.
Yeah,
Right?
I can feel that. Yes, right.
But until you get until you lock in on that person that you're looking for, it's just fuzz. So you get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose to see it or not. And he who hath an ear will hear love.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's depending
It's
upon
so
what
true.
you tune into, how you click.
Yeah.
There is a story. I don't even know where it is in the Bible. Because I don't like to go looking for stuff because that kind of like sometimes it pulls me off point. There's that story about Jesus when he was healing a blind man. And I think the way that the story goes is he spit and he put the spit in the blind man's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Was that blind
And
Bartimaeus? Mm-hmm. Blind Bartimaeus.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because I usually have to look up these stories before I start telling them because I
This is your paraphrase.
yeah. So he spit and he put it on the blind man's eyes, and and the question is can you see?
Mm.
And I think that the guy's answer was, wow, I see trees. And for him, it was people walking around, but what he thought they were trees instead of actual people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine, had he not been honest about what his level of sight was, he might have stayed stuck right there of seeing people, but thinking that they're trees.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, when we think about this book is telling us about the power of confession and about our truth and all of this stuff. When you think about it, for me, if say for instance, I am part of my witnessing is saying that I see dead people everywhere, or if I'm saying that I see hate and violence everywhere, then Jesus might have some more spit for you.
Oh, that's really
right? I mean, because that means that what needs to happen is that the healing ain't done. It's not done.
Mm.
And sometimes we want immediate. And if we sit there and start, like affirming in the moment where you see something, you see blurry, or you see through something, only slightly, you may not get where you're going, because already you're in a state of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we got to figure out how we hold out and hold on until we're done cooking, until it's complete. And so when she says that that we will experience a series of challenges, yes, it'll seem like the earth is quaking up under us. And a lot of times what people do is they grab onto the first thing that they get, right? So say for instance, like with a job. Now we talk about this idea of faith and faithing. And when I just talked about fear and how fear has its consequences, and then there's faith. So what happens a lot of times is that people will grab onto the first thing that they see. First time somebody even thinks to offer you a job, ooh, I'm gonna grab that. Knowing darn well when you get offered that's not what you had asked for, that's not what you prayed for, that's not what you wanted. It doesn't come in at the dollar amount, it doesn't come in with the dynamic, but because we live in this state of fear, we grab for the first thing that comes our way. We do that with jobs, we do it with mates, we do it with, sometimes with cars, we do it with a whole bunch of stuff. We just grab onto the first thing and hang on for dear life because that's our level of faith, right? But that means that, you might need more spit, right? I mean, could you imagine like just being able to hold a space until until your blessing comes?
Yeah, and I was going to say, and all of it, even holding the space, brings about its own level of, let me use her language, brings a level of earthquake, even in holding a space, because there's this level of faith that's required that grows you.
Yeah.
When it hasn't come yet, you kind of it kind of gives you that little, oh, well, I know something is coming, I'm going to hold out. This shows up, oh, not there quite, but no. Okay, so then that experience of, I know it's coming. When is it coming? All right, so I settle down and I settle into waiting more. So there's these big earthquakes, and then these little tremors.
Mm-hmm.
So either experience is going to hold you in a space to get clear about where's your heaven. Even if we say no, I'll wait, there's still that level of growth that comes even in choosing that. I think a tremor would be most satisfying with what I know now of the earthquakes. Tremors would be nice. They're definitely preferred in this journey that I'm on right now. So I stay on the side of the tremors and just wait, and get clear, but yeah.
So so we've all, I think, been in this space of a feeling as if the ground is shifting out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be any number of things. It could be illness, it could be whatever the crisis is that we're in the midst of. Sometimes it is threats to your personhood. Yeah. Like, for me, it was, I want to call it an identity of crisis or a crisis of identity. Because when how you define yourself and how you see yourself is shaken, that can set up a crisis in itself. Ooh. Yeah. So whether it is, and sometimes those crises of identity can be, what insular is the word, or it's not necessarily central to the actual thing, but can be something that's offshooting. So identity can be not, that I was somebody's mother, or I was somebody's wife, or I had this degree, or I had this position, or I had, any number of things. It can be something has caused a crisis of self that wasn't necessarily on me, but out, on, but it affects me.
Oh yeah.
And so all of that becomes the, how do I maneuver given this new data? How do I maneuver? How do I find my solid ground? And so when people are going through these moments and they make a decision based on fear, then what they do is saying, this question of about faith: into whose hands have I commended my spirit?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are not in a space of faith, then we commit our spirit into something that I guess when I just thought about that, the analogy came up as, am I going to build my house on a solid rock foundation, or am I going to build it on sand? And sometimes what we're choosing is the sand.
Yeah.
Because the sand is there. That's the quickest, most accessible thing.
Yeah.
Because we don't, because the solid rock, that rock is just, that may seem like it's a little out of reach. But a lot of times what we do is just out of desperation. It's like, it's kind of like too grabbing onto a twig and thinking that twig is gonna hold
me up.
Yeah, and it doesn't, and but it might for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long run, you likely to go down. So it becomes this thing of what's the foundation? What's the foundational stuff? And so we use these physical analogies to talk about a mental process. This process is mental, right? What's the firm foundation, right? And so, for each of us, when we think about this process of mind, this process of our own thinking, I could tell you about some of the stuff that that I've been faced with. And these tests to my allegiance, and I want to say I have failed a number of times. I mean, I ain't trying to make it seem like I haven't failed, because I have failed a number of times. But in the long run, what I knew is that there was a consequence to the choices that I make. And then what I know is that I can choose again. That while in the moment I may make a choice that doesn't seem to recognize that that there is a rock there that I can choose. Yeah, I get that. I've done that. I've chosen otherwise. I've chosen for the bells and whistles and what looks good instead of what was foundational, what was firm, what was solid, right? And sometimes we do that, and and then get the repercussions of that. So I have made choices other than, and in the midst of it, knew that I was making the wrong choice, right? I was trying to turn something that was frivolous into something that was solid. So I've known that. We have done that over and over again. But the question becomes is do you have the courage to choose again? Do you have the courage to say, oh, you know what, I was wrong? And sometimes even what's right in the moment may be wrong in the long run. So in the season that I was in, say for instance, if we're talking about 2010, in that season that I was in, the choice was right for that moment. but what is that thing Walt Whitman says is that you can be on the right track, but if you stay on that same track for too long, you might get run over. At a certain point, it no longer works for you. And even that we have to, we have to acknowledge and admit. If you look at your own body, right? The level of care that you had to take with your body when you were in your 20s is different from the level of care that you have to take from your body when you're in your 40s, and then from your 50s, and then from your 60s, right? At each level, there is a new devil, so to speak. There is something different that you have to do, something different that is required of you. And to not see that, or to not be able to be flexible enough to change with that, is to get caught, to get caught in a space where, you may need an earthquake to happen to shake you loose from what you thought. Right. So, I think that this is one of those things that, that we have to be conscious of. And she says, so let me shift over for a second to the Course in Miracles for just a second. In the Course in Miracles, it says, this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. And when it said that, I was thinking to myself, what an audacious thing for it to say. It's a required course. Required by who? Why should I have to take this? What do you mean required? You don't know required, but in here, what she says is the inevitable loss of wealth, family, health, and worldly power. Don't you just love how they say inevitable or required? As if the only way you get around this is if you check out early.
Okay.
But then that's a loss of
That's
life.
still a loss to us anyway. I mean, to the people watching is a loss.
So there is a certain inevitability about these things happening. So they're saying it's not if, it's when.
Yes.
Really, that's what it boils down to. It's not if, it's when. And when it happens to you, then what?
It almost sounds pretty necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I think that this work is so important, because what happens is, and I will tell you guys that one of the things that I have prided myself on is that I'm not trying to wait for a lesson to come to me. I am really trying to be conscious and pay attention and run out towards it. Because if I wait until it gets into my camp, it might end up being an earthquake. And so for me, it's like, let me run out and meet you before you get here, right?
Tell me what you mean by that.
Huh?
Tell me what you mean by that.
So, you know how people try to insulate themselves against life?
Oh, yeah.
I see people who
we have names for that.
I have people who tell me that, oh, I'm never going to get another dog because it hurts so bad when they die.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but that's life, darn it.
There's a giant chunk of people who live their life based on self-protection, not wanting to feel hurt. And yet it's interesting, if you observe them, the people that are trying to protect themselves from being hurt, they're doing self-harm.
Yes.
There's
So
always some activity of self-harm happening, be it out here or in here, which results to all of this going into a weird direction. But it's interesting about people who are self-protecting they are, if you pay attention, you'll notice, wow, they got a lot of self-harming behaviors going on in their world while they're so
Mhm.
busy trying to protect themselves from things outside.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I see, and I mean, so a dog, not loving a dog, or not getting into another relationship, or not making friends, or because you're scared of disappointment, you're
Mm-hmm.
scared of, so you deny yourself. And
Yes.
to me, that's like, come on.
So not
So
the
so
intention at all.
yeah. Yeah. So it's like a person who won't get up on a stage because they're afraid they might fail or they mess up. My thing is I'm running up there and gonna fall on my way up, figure out how to laugh at myself, get up, dust myself off, and do it all over again. So when I say I run out to meet it, for me is, you're looking for, I'm volunteering.
I like that. That's good though.
Yeah.
That's good.
You
That's really
you don't
good.
have
That's
to
good.
chase me down, right? I'm gonna stand up. I gotta have the courage to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that there have been some places in my life where I could have shown up bolder or bigger
Mm-hmm.
or better
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But also that according to whose judgment or whose opinion,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I think that for each of us, we know when something resonates or feels right for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, just to do something because of what other people think or what other people will say or how they'll respond is not necessarily a motivation for me.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, yeah, I want to be found amongst that group um, that showed up in a courageous way, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that this can't break me. Yeah. So winds come, earthquakes come, all of that stuff may come, and still I stand. and
Yeah.
and and let me say this about standing too, because sometimes I love that song that says, when you've done all you can do, just stand,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there is a power too in, sometimes we're so quick to make a decision because we think that it's necessary for us to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the best thing we could do is just wait, just stand in a space of expectancy.
Right.
You know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there have been people who, um, you know, oh, I would leave him, or I would quit, or I would, always people with their opinions about what you should do. Sometimes it's just we need to stand
Yeah.
and get
Because we, like we
clear.
said, or like I said earlier, you're either going to
Mhm.
experience an earthquake or you're going to experience a tremor, but all of it takes courage to recognize this is a part of the process. This is a part of the journey, is the getting clear about my heaven. That's all. Getting clear about who I'm trusting, what I'm trusting, what am I
Right.
really trusting? What am I doing here? What is the answer for me? I think that's, like, to me, in my humble opinion, the human experience is, what is the yes, yes for me?
Right.
Me alone. Like, if nobody agrees with me, is this my yes, yes? People agree with
Yeah.
me, great. But what is my yes, yes for me?
Uh-huh.
And
And
that I can
sometimes that
stand
can
in
be your
and not
own
have to
space.
defend. Because when
Mhm.
it's my yes, yes, I'm not even going to defend it. I'm just going to
Right.
stand in it.
One of the things I used to love about my mother is my mother, we would ask her questions and she would say, "'Cause I said so." And that's that's me. Sometimes I am just like that all day long. I have a girlfriend of mine who I used to ask her sometimes, like, who are you trying to convince? Like, I'm bad about doing that. I have spoken. I have made up my mind. And that is not what I'm doing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not and it's, because people will tell you, oh, especially when it comes down to relationships, about oh, you should leave him, or you should do. I don't run my life by consensus. That's not the space or the energy that I'm in, right? Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be doing none of this. I don't live my life by the consensus. Nuh-uh. Boy, bye. I got a direct connect. I got a line of communication. I got guidance. I got a GPS system working in my life, right? I don't need all of that. So it's wonderful. I started off the hour talking about being in a space and allowing my sisters to see that ministry, to be in the midst of that love. um and so you see that and you allow that to minister to your soul without this. It was interesting because when they came flooding back in the room last night, um they came flooding back because they had gone somewhere. And one of them said, well, we were really just trying to get you out of the house. And to which my cousin was like, yeah, like I'm straight right here. Right.
Yeah.
And that's good. Own your space, own your stuff, know yourself, right? And then you don't have to be swayed by, oh, I think you need, or I think you should. Just, that's
I think
that's
that the I think that most people are seeking for that. I just don't think that most people are aware that they're seeking to own themselves or to find themselves or to remember or recognize, be recognitively knowing that I'm good, or whoever they are, like whatever your narrative is, because everybody's got their own narrative. But I think that everyone is on a quest to remember who they are so that they
yeah.
can stand and own themselves, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put a note in here. Maybe after we move out of this space and into the next section, maybe we will talk about Isis and Osiris and the remembering of.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, yeah. So let's do that. All right. So you guys, it is time for us to get off of here.
Thanks.
Whenever you
Happy
watched,
Saturday.
yeah, whenever you watched is perfect. If you watched is perfect. Blessings, love and blessings to you. And Stephanie, thank you
Thanks.
for I appreciate your steadfast showing up and allowing this work to happen through you too.
I'm
So thank
excited. I am so excited. I can't wait to just see what blossoms. It feels like this little tight little bud of
you.
information that's just coming alive um right before my eyes. And you know, it was it yeah, and I wasn't running to meet it. It came to me.
Well, you
And
you
I'm
did make the
grateful.
phone call.
I
You
did make the
did.
phone call. Now
Yeah,
that
you
is
made
the
the
truth.
phone call,
That is the
and that was so funny. You made the phone call, and I was like, isn't that a coincidence?
it's so
Serendipitous.
crazy. I love it though. That's my miracle life. That's so good.
All
Good.
right.
Well, happy
Happy
Saturday. Enjoy.
Saturday. Have a wonderful day. We will be
All
here
right.
tomorrow, same time in the morning, and then I'll be on at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And I love you. I hope,
Love you too.
trust
Thank
all
you.
the best is happening in your world and
Hmm.
in your affairs. The light of
Yes.
God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you wherever you are. And I always say this thing in its fullness, because I want to say to people, you're not getting a little. Sometimes people think that we got a little silver cord connecting us to God.
Yeah.
No, God is where you are in fullness.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea of in its fullness, right where you are. I love it. All right. So bask in that. Bask in
Yes.
that.
It's the truth. Yes.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
see
Have a
you
good
tomorrow.
one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.